A large variety of food, salad, soup, falafel, knishes, and more. Reasonably priced, kid-friendly, wheelchair accessible, takeout and delivery. Lunch and dinner specials under strict rabbinical supervision. Pizza Nosh, the taste that everyone loves. 718-253-3200.
Welcome to Kashrus on the Air, your weekly radio show dealing with kosher issues for the kosher consumer. And I'm your host, Rabbi Yosef Wickler, editor of Kashrus magazine. And tonight we have some very interesting topics to discuss, some of them hot off the press and some of them not even on the press yet. I don't know where we go with everything, but we try to follow up most of the things that come across our desk. So I want to share a few of the items that I saw recently. I think you'll have a lot of benefit from it. Just to give you a couple of titles. One is about a gentleman who was on an airline and was served, he had coffee. That was a dairy issue. We'll discuss it. I'm not sure the details. I sent an email to him to corroborate it. And then I have a story about a gentleman who was traveling from Tokyo, Japan, and he was served a meal that has questionable kashrus on it. We'll mention that one. And then we're going to talk about Israel. We're going to discuss, first America. We're going to discuss some real numbers on kosher products. We'll discuss some things on Israel, in particular about the mashgichim over there. And then, Yitzhak Hashem, we're going to discuss a certain maverick rabbi and his ideas of kashrus. I'm not going to be able to mention his name, but we'll get some ideas. And then we're going to discuss the impossible foods, the impossible burger, which is an interesting topic, and you'll see more about it when we get there. It's really quite an exciting topic, the impossible burger. So let's start first with the email that I got today. I'll read it to you. On a recent transatlantic flight, I went to the back kitchen area to make a cup of coffee. Having poured the contents of the sachet in cup, it looked like an odd color. Upon further investigation, the ingredients stated may contain milk. This is a problem even with those passengers who are makel on cholav akum, as the origins are not in the USA. In other words, this product is not made in the USA, in which case many people hold that the heta that Moshe Feinstein had about relying on the government of America to protect us against having non-kosher milk, so that even though there's no Jew watching the production of the regular milk in America, the assumption is what Moshe Feinstein has it's pretty much guaranteed that the government is controlling that we don't have any non-kosher animal milk here in the United States, unless you go to some specialty store and buy it for $20 and for 10 ounces or something. But you're talking about regular milk you wouldn't be able to find with that. So that's the Rav Moshe held that was what you could do if you didn't have anything else. Although most people who didn't really learn Rav Moshe's tshuvas, they misunderstand, and they think Rav Moshe said is a heter. You can use cholav stam. It's not really correct. Every single tshuva Rav Moshe wrote, every one that's published, and I think there was 3 or 4, I can't remember if it was 4 or 3. 3 for sure, maybe a 4th also. And each one of them, he said that it's kedai to be machmir. In some cases, he said it's for yeshiva, even though it's a loss of money. It's very important for them to know that you then spend extra money for chashash iser, even though it's a minor possibility, but it's a chashash iser according to Rav Moshe, and he didn't make light of Chol of Israel. It's a very, very big misunderstanding. People, Rav Moshe's heter. It'd be nice if some of the people would learn it inside, or get their rabbis to explain it to them. It definitely does change the situation when you study it and you see what he was not giving carte blanche. It seemed to be in the situations where you couldn't get the Chol of Israel easily. As I told this story, I hear at least once or twice. I'm not going to tell it a million times, but I remember I did tell it once or twice, but maybe it's a couple of years ago. When we were in yeshiva in our younger years, so the Rosh Yeshiva of Kanarik, who was Rabbi Israel Kanarik, who was the head of the yeshiva, or HaMeir, which in those years it was in New Rochelle, not where it is currently. And in Or HaMeir, he was the Rav Kanarik was very much appreciative of a coffee with a milk. He always had. I remember in the afternoon always having a coffee with milk, and I probably had one in the morning too. I'm guessing. I don't know, but I remember in the afternoon always saw him take a coffee with milk. And when we didn't have Chol Israel, because somebody brought it up from the city, from Brooklyn, and if he didn't come, if it was bad weather or whatever, winter weather, so he didn't come. So then the Rosh Yeshiva said, "Okay, now go out and buy Chol Stam," and we were able to go out to the store and buy Chol Stam products. This was milk, cheese, or whatever it was, anything we wanted to buy, we bought as Chalov Stam with our Hersher, but there was nothing available in regular milk, and he held that that's the heter of Moshe's heter applies. When we got milk back, so that heter was off, and a lot of the boys refused to finish up what they had. That's it. There's no heter anymore. But as far as the Rosh Yeshiva Zatzal, he wouldn't have the milk with the coffee. His kids he let have the milk, the Chol Stam, but he wouldn't do it. And he took Rav Moshe's heter. He understood Rav Moshe's heter. Personally, he didn't want to follow it if he didn't need it. He can live without it. Not a kid, but young people growing up need food and need this and that. Who can eat cereal without milk? So then this was the reason why we were told that was it. So that's Rav Moshe's heter, only where it's not easily available. Anyway, let's not get lost in that today. We have plenty to do. This gentleman said that he seems to. I don't get the whole story because I didn't speak to him, and I just emailed him back with a few questions. But it seems to be that there was a concern that the sachets, the little things they give you on an airplane or another place, they hand you a packet. Oh, it's just coffee. Read the ingredients. Don't get flustered. When you're in a different environment, read the ingredients. When you're in a place and you haven't seen it, you see something new, you didn't read the ingredients. Look for the hashgacha. Don't be fooled. It's so common today for people to be fooled. I'll tell you what's happening in the world. It wasn't like this years ago. Used to be there was a thing called a kosher company. It means to say this candy company, this cookie company, this nash company, this whatever it is, it's a kosher company. Then we see that occasionally, they also produce something else. They started producing more and more foods because to be competitive, they needed a big supply of different types of products, different flavors, different types, different people to get the space on the shelf. So what they did was they started making things, and the hashgacha said, we can't give that hashgacha on that. Okay, we'll do it without your hashgacha. So they had products coming into the store, getting put on shelves, sometimes in frum stores, coming in with no hashgacha on it, not kosher. Not kosher. Not even that. No hashgacha. Not kosher. Same name company people were always used to using. Well, we got used to that already. I got to see in the type, whatever it is. So I'm going to look for this kind of cookie. I know it's okay. But this cookie, I got to check it. Let me see. Does it have a hashgacha on the back? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can eat it. No, it doesn't have it. Okay, I'm leaving it. That's what we got to. Got much more confusing. I remember the Snapple line. The Snapple line was terrible. I don't know what it's up to now. I haven't seen it in a while. But the Snapple line, we were told, if it doesn't have the okay, it's not kosher. It's the same exact name product. It's the same packaging, the same everything. Sometimes with the okay, sometimes without the okay. This happened because they were doing in the products, they were producing things that were not kosher, and they don't always have a person from the OK staff there. So they said, when we're here, you can put the OK on. When you're not here, you can't put the OK on. And that's the setup that they had. And the same thing happens in Beech Nut. The OU had, the Beech Nut makes tray for food, no question about it. So what they were doing was they were running things on the same line, and if it had an OU on it, then it was a kosher run, and if it didn't have the OU on it, it was run on the treif equipment. So the only way to know is to look for the symbol every single time, not once, every time. And stores again and again and again till today, they're still carrying. Oh, I didn't realize it. Oh, they sent it with the other ones. Yeah, but whose fault is it ultimately? It's your fault. There was a product I had discussed it here. I don't think I wrote up about it because it's a little sensitive. It had a Hamish Hashgacha, which means it had a national Hashgacha too. But it had a Hamish Hashgacha and a national Hashgacha. Then the Hamish Hashgacha was no longer on the product after a while. I don't know, 2 years, 5 years. I don't know, whatever it was, but there was no Hamish Hashgacha on it. It was back to the regular Hashgacha that was on it from the national Hashgacha. But it was being carried in all the Frum stores. And the people that were used to buying it were buying it, not realizing that it changed its standards, or at least that let's say, there's no added hashgacha, there's no hamish hashgacha on it. Well, they didn't know that. No one fooled them. They just didn't look at the labels. The store owner should have used a little seichel also, but he didn't. So okay, that's his problem, and shop someplace else if you like. You're the one who's providing the food for your family and for yourself. It's not the store owner. The store owners always used to have non-kosher products or products with ad hashgacha on it. I mean, come on, it's our responsibility, not theirs. You can blame them. Okay, to a certain extent, you say you should be careful. Okay, fine, but ultimately, it's your responsibility not to take it into your house, and your responsibility not to serve it. And many people I assumed. Don't assume. You're in a new place. Think. This person, it's a gentleman, he's a thinking person. He caught it. I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm just letting you know this thing. And that's why it's important on a plane to be, or in any place, when you're out of your own environment, and even when you're in your environment, but certainly when you're out of your own environment, don't make assumptions. Oh, it was always kosher. I have it kosher in my house. Yeah, you have it. Sometimes the store owner is trying to help you, and he gets a product with an additional hamish hashgacha, and you go to another store, and they don't have that hamish hashgacha. Now, is it was the same thing? No. It's not the same thing. It could be the same, could not be, but that's the hashgacha's work. In other words, if you don't make any assumptions, read the ingredients. Everybody says that. Now, I brought to this unbelievable story, which I don't know the end of it either. If I find the end of it, I got to tell you the end of one story. I forgot to tell you that one, so let me tell you the end of that story now. We were talking about a gentleman who's in who has a co-op apartment in a co-op apartment building. And the co-op board decided to save money, and what they did was they got special dimmers that make the lights go low and then go up again, and it's controlled by movement. It's sensitive to the movement. So when somebody comes out of his apartment, the lights go up, and when he goes away, he's not in that area anymore. The lights go down. They don't go off. I mean, legally they get in trouble and it's dangerous. So they don't do that. The lights don't go off, but they go dimmer. They're not needed as much. And then when somebody will walk into that area again, it'll go up. And then when they walk away, it goes down. It's motion detective reaction, and it changes the whole thing. So there are 4 people who are from an apartment, the co-ops. The rest of them are not from. So not Jewish, whatever. But the 4 from people, they said it's not right. So the co-op board went and got some rabbinic support for what they did, which they didn't identify. And these people were struggling. They got a Rav in the community. The Rav gave a letter saying that it's usher to go to walk in front of that thing, which al pi halacha is hard to say. It's really usher. It's a question about nichale. I'm not going to get into the topic now, but it's a question mark on the whole thing, which is legitimate question mark. The other rabbis that the co-op board asked said that it was based upon a truth from Rav Wosner. They think that it should be mutter. It's a discussion. I'm not for tonight. But anyway, Baruch Hashem, the Sof Pasuk is that the board backed down. Now, these were 4 people, and they could have made what we call a fight. They could have made a legal challenge. I don't know if they'd be successful, but they could have made it. They talked about it. They didn't do it. They decided they're going to go straight, appeal to their senses, that the concerns that they had about Shabbos, and whether the board itself are Shomer Shabbos people or not Shomer Shabbos. I personally don't know. I'm probably not. I don't know if they're Jewish or not. I don't know what the details are. But they decided to give in to these 4 people, and they're going to try to get an arrangement where they'll be able to use a dimmer during the week, and on Shabbos they wouldn't be able to use this dimmer thing. That's the plan, and hopefully it'll go through. Point why I'm bringing it up is people have to be aware that things happening around them and changing, and that, again, we can do something. And don't think just because we're in the absolute minority that you can't affect the change. You can affect the change. Now, let's go on to the story which just hit the press. This is a story from last week. I doubt that anybody's listening here heard of it. It's a wild story. It's what's wild about it is I don't know what the answer is. I also wrote emails about this, so if I get an answer, I'll believe that or I'll let everybody know, because this is a wild story. We mentioned the story here, and I did a special in the magazine on it. A gentleman who I know very, very well, who had been going back to Israel, to where he lives in Israel, and going back there, and they served him a meal with a good hashgacha on it, and it was aboard a major airline, not El Al, major airline, and the food said on it the name of hashgacha, the name of the caterer, and then he started eating it and it tasted strange, and he looked at the packaging, and it seemed like underneath that label was a label on the food itself. And he started reading that, and he almost fainted, because it said it has pig in there. Not maybe, not the same building, not the same facility. There's pork in there, and then it said that there's meat there, regular meat and milk, basar, becholov, and dava acher in one meal, with a glatt kosher caterer name on the top, and a national famous hashgacha on the top, and that's what it said. But inside it was treif gomer. I don't know if I told you the end of the story. The end of the story is the airlines gave him what he told me was a small settlement, whatever it was. I think it was in the low. I mean, I don't want to give numbers. My guess is between $1,000 and $2,000, because that's the kind of settlements they were giving to other people. But he did pursue it with them, and something came across, and at least they know that that people are concerned. But this story I'm going to read to you now, which is very short, is really very interesting, and it opens up a whole slew of things that we should be thinking about. I mean, everybody. Listen to this story. If you want to see it somewhere, I'll read you the intro, and then you could find it any way you want. Shellfish found in Beth Din certified British Airways meal. Jewish passenger was dismayed after finding shellfish in the ingredients and is based in approved kosher meal. It doesn't say there's any. We don't know that there's any treif in there. The line that they start off with definitely sounds like it was really treif. We don't know if it's treif or not. Shellfish found in Beit Din certified British Airway meal, but then it tells you that he was concerned because he found shellfish listed in the ingredients of his Beit Din approved kosher meal on a flight from Tokyo. All right. A disgruntled, and we have the name of the person. I don't mind meeting it because he's saving us. A disgruntled Dennis, and he got it publicized, so he doesn't mind. A disgruntled Dennis Krushner, Krushner. If we Google it, I'm sure you're going to come up with him. He's an interesting man. You're going to see in a second. A disgruntled Dennis Krushner complained after finding shellfish in his food. That's what it says here. Now here's where it starts off the actual article. Dennis Krushner, who designed the UK's first telephone interviewing software. So the man is a capable individual. He designed the UK's first telephone interviewing software for microcomputers in the 1980s. And I remember the 1980s, everything was just beginning then. And he was on the top of the pile at that time. He complained to British Airways about the meal, which was sourced in Lyon, that's France, and bore a kosher certificate from the Lyon basin. Okay. Krushner's, this is the meal that he got, the name of it, Mediterranean salmon meal. Sounds Mediterranean salmon, okay. It contained fish stock. Like they have chicken stock and beef stock, they have fish stock from fish. The ingredients inside were shellfish and mollusk. Both of them, that's what mollusk is also, shellfish. So in other words, in the ingredients of the fish stock were treif. Now, I'm reading a quote, and then I have something that's not clear at all to me. So I'll read the quote, and then I'll tell you my problem afterwards. I contacted British Airways. This is Mr. Kushner speaking. I contacted British Airways, who simply replied effectively that it was a shame we didn't like the meal, even though I pointed out that these ingredients are not kosher, he said. Now, here's a continuation of, it seems to me, of his quote. But I think he means that he's quoting British Airways to him. Jewish passengers wanting to keep kosher should be aware of the British Airways kosher meals may contain shellfish and mollusk, which they do not want to eat, which they would not want to eat. So it sounds to me that I'm not sure how this quote came in here. It looks to me like he's quoting what they said to him. So they don't get it. And that's something that really bothers me very much. I think, maybe unless they're just faking it, I think these airlines are not sensitized to kosher. And I'm not exaggerating. I think they're not sensitized to kosher. I think they view kosher as a food choice, as an option, as something that people would like to have. They don't view it as something like a person who has an allergy. They don't view it as a person who's eating something that's forbidden to them or poisonous to them. They don't view it that way. They view it, my understanding, at least everything I've dealt with the airlines, that's how they view it, just like, oh, you were upset, oh, you didn't like it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So that's the way I think that they're dealing with it, because if you see the settlements that they make and the toughness that they have against it, I studied it on the internet. I saw, things going back pretty far back. There's no real settlements, nothing exciting happening. And, I'm sorry, that's basically what they get. Maybe they try to give you, a little free ride to somewhere or something, but usually they don't settle for anything serious, and they claim it wasn't their fault, and they wiggle out of it. They have lawyers, so this seems to be what happens in general, but I don't know what's going to happen in each case. Now, the airline food kosher certificate, which has shellfish among the ingredients. I had the picture of that. The actual picture, it shows the shellfish's ingredients and the mollusks, etc. A British Airways customer service representative wrote to Kushner saying, "You're clearly unhappy with the quality of our food. We know how important our meal service is to our customers, especially when you have a special dietary requirement." Oh, please, please. This is what they're writing to him because they really are not properly trained in how to talk to us. The least it should say is we understand that this is in violation of your religion, and accidentally, and we feel terrible about what we caused you. This thing about you were unhappy with our meals. I mean, the quality of our food, not the quality of our food. My goodness, they don't get it. This is the British Airways customer service representative, which means that they're trained to be able to handle these things. How did they train them to handle the kosher? I don't think they were trained properly at all. She continued. This was a quote from that representative. We choose our catering partners carefully, and we set very high standards for food preparation. Who's saying no? Our suppliers must have strict processes in place to ensure these standards are met. What does this all mean? A British Airways spokesman told Jewish News, because this is coming from a thing called Jewish News, we understand the distress this has caused our customer, and we are investigating this as a matter of urgency with our supplier. So at least, finally, somebody got it. It took 3 shots at it, but somebody got it. Now, the food has a certificate that's certified by Dayan Yahya Tabul. In a statement on its website, from the Leon-based Beth Din, it says the regional consistory. This is consistoire. I don't know maybe that's how you say it. It's the consistoire, and the regional Beth Din have put in place a whole system of control in order to guarantee kosher, irreproachable to all the faithful. It adds that its kosher logo is recognized as a quality reference. Then Jewish News says the Leon Beth Din has been approached for comment. Well, nothing's been published. I didn't see anything from Jewish News. I can't find anything at all on the web. I contacted the Leon Beth Din, and I asked them, I sent 3 different email addresses to make sure I got to somebody properly, and I explained clearly what the issue is. We have to know this information. It's extremely important, and we hope we'll pray to find out. Now let's just brainstorm. We know nothing about the case, so it really isn't fair to say anything, but we want to understand, what does it mean? So I'm going to tell you there are 4 choices. 4 choices. Number 1, this could be not under the Beth Din. It could be totally came from a treifa caterer, and they just put the Beth Din's name on. Okay, that's a possibility. Another one is it comes from the Beth Din certifying this particular place, but there is treif in there. How could there be treif in there? Because maybe there is more than one production line. Maybe they produce treif and kosher, and maybe in the facility they mix it up. Number 3, a possibility is that they produce only kosher in that facility, and that company only produces kosher. But they took where the words of mollusk and all where they get that from. So it could be, somebody was copying off something about fish stock, and he just took he cut and paste. Okay, it's a possibility. The graphic designer didn't know what he was doing. Obviously, the Hashgacha agency did not check the ingredients, which is unfortunately par for the this is a common occurrence with all the different Kashrus agencies. They don't check every label, but in the system, it shouldn't have had those words if it's a kosher only establishment. If the caterer is only doing kosher, it shouldn't have been in the options. So there's at least 3 or 4 possibilities. Maybe there's 5 or 6. It isn't good. And it's important for the Kashrus agency to communicate with the world. If they don't answer me, and they don't put anything out on the web, and there's nothing, no one's responding to anybody in Jewish News, and there isn't any response, I may not find out. But if there isn't, so this is bad. This is not transparent. And we're talking a lot these days about what they're doing in South Africa, because that country, they were pressured. The hashgacha was pressured, but they're responding in a beautiful manner. Everything transparent. I'm looking forward to hearing the results of the ACO investigation that they had, and what they found out with their testing, and their what their lawyers had found out. But that's something down the road. We haven't heard from them for a while. But the Yom Tov was right now, so about a week or two I'll probably hear from them. In any event, I think that this story here makes us think a little bit. When we go in the plane, I think it's kedai to look a second or two at your meal and not just see that it's coming to you. Kosher meal, kosher meal. Okay, yeah, I got the kosher, thank you. I think we should go a step further and look at the packaging a little bit better, because I can't imagine anything crazier than being 30,000 feet in the air and you're served something like this. Now, what do? You can't call anybody. Oh, maybe today you can. I don't know if you can. Maybe you can text. I don't know if you can. Probably not able to. And therefore, what are you supposed to do? You're stuck. And the frustration you have, and if you eat something like that, the frustration you have is you don't know what you have here. You just don't know. And you may not find out ever, and it may take weeks to find out. So I say, look a little bit carefully when you're up in the air. I don't want to have to hear the story. Let me tell you something that I heard today about it from a gentleman in Israel. Very interesting gentleman. He studied in the United States in yeshiva, and he's in Israel now. And we had a very interesting conversation. I'll tell you something. A couple things he found out. A couple of things also he told me about Israel. I think it's very worthwhile hearing. Number one, he's giving me actual numbers, not guesses. He did research in this. That in the year 2016, in the United States, there were 22,000 new products, new food products that came out. I don't know what that means. I don't think it means all totally new from scratch. It could mean just, they're just new UPC codes because of different sizes and boxes. I don't know what it is. But let's not worry about SKUs. Let's not worry about what is the new product, right? Not how many different tastes you're going to have, but definitely new products in America. 22,000. Now, I'm going to tell you a number, and you're not going to believe it, but this man, and I can tell you who it is, this man did the research, and he told me the number. And there's a reason why he has to know the numbers. He said the percent of food in the United States in 2016, new products, not about old stuff, new products only, the amount of kosher was 42%. Nearly half the food in America that's coming out new is kosher. Nearly half. That is a fact in America. It's over 9,000 new kosher products. I forgot the number. I didn't write it down. I just remember the 9,000. I remember the 42%. And then in Israel, where almost 100% is kosher, they do 9,000 products a year new. So we're getting new products in America, the same number, the kosher products in America, new products kosher in America, as they're producing in Israel, which is also very interesting, which means that Israel is pretty much, in terms of kosher, as big a producer as America, or maybe bigger, I don't know. But certainly interesting similarity. He tried to get the numbers for Europe, and he said it was impossible to get the numbers. For some reason, they will not release these numbers. He was not able to get the numbers in Europe, but he knows it's far behind U.S. and Israel, but we don't know the numbers. But the numbers of America, in the year 2016, 42%. That is a number. Now, this gentleman, I'm not going to tell you what exactly he does, but he is working with one of the Rabbanuts in Eretz Israel. He is doing work, I'm not going to tell you all the details about it, but regarding mashgichim. And he told me a number which I'd never heard the numbers before, so I'm going to share it with you. Just an interesting concept. That the store, when they hire a mishgiach has to work there for a certain amount of hours or whatever, he gets 37 shekels an hour. Now that 37 shekels an hour is not what the mashgiach gets. It's what the rabbanut gets. The mashgiach is paid about 30 to 32 shekels an hour, and from that he pays taxes. So he's getting less than $8 an hour, which means he's absolutely a minimum wage person. That's something important to remember, because that means that he's not given that much cheshivas. Now, the particular place that he's working with, I'm not going to mention the city for certain reasons. The particular city he's working with has 260 plus different hashgachas. How many mashgichim do you think he has in total? So there are two establishments that have their on-site mashgichim. Out of the 260 plus, there's two that have the on-site mashgichim. They're there, I think, all the time. In addition to that, from the rabbanut, they send out, handling 260 places. They have a total of 17 mashgichim. So if you can do the work, figure it out, right? 10 stores is 170. 260 is almost 20 stores. How in the world? Okay, you decide. But this is what the mashgichim are doing, and this is what the mashgichim are getting paid. Then I said to him, but, he said to me, the mashgichim, it's wild. You have mashgichim that are on top of things. They're with the best in the world. It should be mashgiach of the year. And some of them are no-shows, very rarely showing up. They're not, it's $8 an hour, right? They're not working too hard. And so I said to him, well, what about the supervision? Pikuach, ma yesh ma pikuach. So he said to me, you know how many mefakchim they have? For the 17 mashgichim in the 260 plus stores? They have two people. And one of them is the head of the Kashrus agency, of the rabbanut there, which means most of the time he spends in the office. So you have basically 1.5 men, that's what I'm calling them, 1.5 men, supervising 260 establishments with not a mashgiach tamidi, and the only two stores with a mashgiach tamidi, and the rest of them is 17 mashgichim who are, not perfect, and they're visiting all these establishments supervised by 1.5 people, which means, and you can figure it out yourself, and I don't want to say more. I don't know what goes on in every city, but this city I know from the inside. And it's scary. So when you go to Israel, well, you should know what to do. You don't do rabbanut. You talk about rabbanut mahadrin if you want to, on certain cities, if you want to. If you don't want to, it could be even better. And then it's up to you. That's certainly an issue. The rabbanut mahadrin is a different level in some cities, not all cities. And you look for the heimish hashgachas. And don't look for the word badatz, because the word badatz means nothing in Israel. Everything is a badatz. I'm a badatz, you're a badatz, everybody's a badatz. That's just a game now. What you do is you find out who are the top hashgachas. Maybe you're going to have one handful, 5 of them. Maybe you're going to make 7 or 8. I saw the materials that the girls get in the seminaries and the boys get in yeshivas. They hand it out to them, these are recommender lists. And you'll see they have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Take tier 1, you're safe. Tier 2, you might be okay. Tier 3, you're being a little bit chancy, but nobody has the regular rabbanuts listed there. No one in America, no one gives the kids from America to go to these places. But now you know why. I gave you an inside story. You're never going to find this anyplace. Now, I told you I was going to talk about a maverick rabbi. I see I'm not going to get to my exciting story. I will get there, hopefully. If I don't, I owe it to you. And sometimes I pay up. Not always. Sometimes I forget to be where the papers are, and I have so much in my head. I go for the next ones. If you bother me with an email, I'll pick up anything I missed and I didn't finish off. But this is about a maverick rabbi, and I'm working very hard on this. So let me tell you, this is a rarity. Don't get the idea that everybody's like this. But we've been talking on this show for a while now about different rabbis who are giving hashgachas on these vegan restaurants that are open on Shabbos, no mashgiach, etc., etc., etc. And it's not acceptable. If you want a vegan restaurant, fine. Get a full-time mashgiach. You want to get a Shomer Shabbos owner? I don't care. Whatever you do. I'm not against vegan. I'm just against restaurants that are owned by goyim, open 7 days a week with no mashgiach there, relying on certain things that should be all right. Shouldn't be a problem, and I don't think he would cheat. I think it's absolutely ridiculous because you don't put meat in there doesn't mean you couldn't have the mollusks. And he doesn't do it because he's vegan. That's first of all, he's telling you he's vegan. We don't know what he really is. And secondly, it's again and again and again they've been cheating even in vegan restaurants. And you get the deal about behalotcha. There's a lot of stuff that's very interesting behalotcha. And even though people tell you, behalotcha, we don't really have behalotcha. Yeah, well, there are some vegetables that are behalotcha 150%. And everybody knows that in the industry. Let's go back to the square one. Here's our gentleman. I'm going to read to you some of his accomplishments. He's a very young rabbi. By the way, he's not alone. There were a group of them in America. Very few, but a group. And I'm trying. I can't stamp it out. I'm trying to change them as much as I can. I communicate with them. I communicate with other people about them. I try to get pressure put on them. I'm dreaming that they'll see the light and say, for the goodness of our people, that they shouldn't get confused and be led down a dark road to end up in the hands of conservative Judaism, that we should may draw the line here. And that's what I'm dreaming. Unfortunately, I'm losing. And here's the story. So here's one man, very young, and 2 years ago he started giving hashgacha on a group of restaurants that the local VAD considered unacceptable. So he took them over. He has Gvinas Akum over there. He has non-Jewish cheese over there. They're open on Shabbos. And he's a member of the VAD, but he's going behind the back of the VAD, and they refuse to give these places hashgacha, and he grabs them up. But I'll give you another one. This I have to be a little careful in the radio here. He's a proponent of same-gender unions. No explanation. And he also is in support of conservative day schools. So he's really, really, really pushing it. And this is a person giving hashgacha, and we have to decide if we're going to keep him in the list of kosher organizations or we're just going to sign him off, drop him out. We've had to drop out some people because of lack of performance of orthodoxy. People who prayed in non-orthodox synagogues, did other things, we had to drop them out. We consider them non-orthodox. And we get to this kind of gray area over here. I don't know if it's gray or not, but we get to this area. Everyone who is quoted Rav Soloveitchik. I know for a fact that Rav Soloveitchik permitted at one time Kraft cheese. I know because a cousin of mine who was in a leadership capacity in a camp was told by Rav Soloveitchik that he could use cheese, the Kraft cheese. Not told by somebody else, told by Rav Soloveitchik, and my cousin told me this. And I just saw a video from the OU, I think it is, or no, maybe I'm not sure if it's I think it's the OU, and there's a gentleman they have over there. I'm not going to mention his name, who's an older gentleman, goes back to the time with Rav Soloveitchik, was close to Rav Soloveitchik, and Rav Soloveitchik told him, we no longer use the Kraft cheese. From now on, we should be using only with kosher certification. That's what he told this rabbi, old rabbi today, very famous rabbi. If you ask me off the line, I'll give you the rabbi's name, I'll get you the contact, everything, I have it, but I don't want to go there now. But he told us that, he's told everybody, you can see the video, I think it was a video? No, I think it's just it's audio from the OU. And no, is it OU or YU? I'm not sure. I think it's YU. I think from Yeshiva University. It's a video. It's an audio. That's what it is. And he told us clearly that Rav Soloveitchik told him, no longer can we use the Kraft cheeses. No longer can we use we need to use with hashgacha. And we're talking back in the 50s and 60s. Now, what do you need this for? This stuff is available. What would be so terrible if this gentleman would say, we're going to listen to a story. You won't believe this. There's a gentleman, I'm not going to tell you where he lives. He was brought up Orthodox. I'm not asking where he prays today, okay? We're not going to ask him that question. But his job is to give hashgacha, not as a Rav Machshir, but as a supervisor of Kashrus for two conservative synagogues. They have him as their Kashrus administrator. And the people over there, very far away from where I am right now, on the other side of the country, the people in those conservative synagogues are saying to him, so-and-so, why do you need hashgacha on cheese? The conservative movement's not requiring it. Why do we need hashgacha on cheese? Let's use regular cheese. And he says, no, it's not kosher. And he called me up to talk to me about it because he wanted to make sure that he's not wrong in stressing it. I said, no, 100%. And I told him reasons why. He said, I'm right. Yes, you're 100% right. And he goes back to them and he tells them under no circumstances. And you know what he told me? They went along with him. They went along with him. He's in the conservative movement, working in the conservative movement, and they come to him and they tell him we shouldn't have to require hashgacha on cheese, and he says, no, you do. And they said, okay. And here's a rabbi purporting himself to be an Orthodox rabbi, an Orthodox synagogue, and he's telling the people, he's doing. He says to the stores, you don't need kosher cheese. No problem. I'll read to you. I'm going to read to you, but of course I'm leaving out his name. This is the actual email that I have from one of the stores, one of the restaurants. The cheese we use is from, okay, I'm not going to mention, it uses a vegetarian rennet. It's not certified kosher, but Rabbi X is considering it kosher. He considers it kosher. Rabbi Soloveitchik didn't consider it acceptable. This fellow who works in the conservative movement is telling everybody it's not acceptable, but this Orthodox rabbi wants everybody. Now, let me tell you behind the scenes what happened. This gentleman has a friend, and his friend, when I contacted him over this whole issue, he said, you know what? Let's have a dialogue in Kashrus magazine. I'll present my position, and you'll present your position. I said, no, it's not open for discussion. Halacha is not open for discussion. We go with Torah and Gedol Yisrael and Poskim and Rabbanim and Rosh and Yeshivas and Shulchan Aruch. We don't go with whatever you got. And we're not going to open it up to discussion. Should we? Should we do this? Shouldn't we do it? Oh, come on. What is this? This is open for discussion? Absolutely not. Klal Yisrael doesn't need it, and we have to expurgate it from our midst. If you know anybody who's doing this, you have to try as much as possible. And I'm working very hard at it to stop it. Will I be successful? Who knows? But I'm not going to give up. Leads me to my last topic, which I really have. I can tell you, I could do a book on it. It's so exciting, and I hope and pray I will be able to bring these papers back and tell you a little next time. But it's unbelievable. This company I'll give you at least the top of it. It's called Impossible Burger. It's come from a company called Impossible Foods. It is possible. They made it. Now, it just got to OU a week ago. This thing is big. They didn't just start today. They have 1,500 restaurants that use the Impossible Burger. They're spending a fortune of money. They've raised, I'm scared to tell you all the details because you're gonna start wanting to know how to get the money. That they've raised hundreds of millions of dollars to this thing. It's extraordinary. Here, you listen to this? I'm quoting. It raked in more than $250 million from investors, including Bill Gates, are behind this Impossible Burger. and they have the most fancy restaurants in the country, not McDonald's, the fancy restaurants. They're using this and they're doing. Now, what is important to us? Because you're going to have this offered to you in the near future. Currently, you couldn't buy it unless you walked into a treifa restaurant. But there's no question kosher restaurants are going to get it. And there's no question that they're going to start producing it in a way you could buy it in the store. They said it so in the material that I got. They're going to it's getting ready to go put it into the grocery stores. And there's no question they're going to put cheese on it and call it a kosher cheeseburger. There's no question about this. It's not an issue. This is going to be it. And the stuff tastes very close to meat. That's the whole chap. They use a thing called heme, which is like hemoglobin. It's in blood. It's the stuff that gives the juicy, flavory, bloody taste, look and taste. And it also grows in vegetables. There's also, in vegetables, they have the heme also. And they take it from the vegetables. And they use the whole preparation here. I could go on, I don't have the time for it. But they produce it in a way, you can see it on video. You see them producing it. And it's when they make that burger, it's so juicy and it's so bloody red and they have the heme with the taste in it, the savory taste of it. And when you make the burger that way, the whole thing is oozing this flavor of blood, and what can I tell you? The people are going crazy over it. Some argue that it's not real, tastes like meat. Okay, fine. Well, it isn't meat. Some people say it's close call, but not good enough. It's like it. It's not good enough. Okay, fine. Whatever it is. But they got 1,500 restaurants, so they're satisfying somebody. It's a whole discussion topic of what they're doing and how they're doing it. But there's a little problem. The FDA won't approve it. And we're going to be eating it. And we're going to have a problem also with the maris ayin of the cheeseburger. And we're going to have a question if they make it even with a parva cheese, and this is parva, are we going to call it a cheeseburger? And we're going to go into a restaurant, you're going to find the word cheeseburger on the restaurant, a parva restaurant, let's say a fish place, a dairy place, a meat place. And we're going to see that word cheeseburger all over the place. So this is a challenge. This is a new challenge that's happening right under our noses. It just came up this week. And I predict that we're all going to confront it very seriously someday, unless the FDA closes it down. And from what I'm reading, they're going to survive. And they could not only survive, they could probably, if they wanted to, they could change the process. And they would avoid a lot of the shilas they have in it. But there's definitely a shilah. It's definitely exciting. But the people who are, who write about this, there's a tremendous amount of material on this company and the Impossible Burger. And one of the things that they're writing is they're saying, you shouldn't be trying to do this. What they're trying to do is copy meat. You're never going to be able to copy meat. It's just not going to be meat. So it's going to be almost as good, kind of like, but you're not going to be able to get it the same. So give up. What you should do instead is something that just tastes good. And there's a fellow who makes a burger. I don't think it has a shkacha, but there's a fellow who's making the burger. I have it here in my notes, but I have to take 5 minutes to find it. This fellow makes a burger. Do I get it? No, this is another thing here. This fellow makes a burger which tastes nothing like meat, but it's an absolutely awesome taste, and people love it. It's a cheese. I'm sorry, it's a vegetable sandwich kind of thing, but it has an extremely exciting taste. It's absolutely delicious. It has a savory taste, and it has some of the qualities of meat. It has it's a mixture of crisp and soft, has charring, it has a lot of salt and a lot of umami. Umami is a meat-like taste. It's like a savory taste. And they have a lot of grease, especially and basically the vegetable-based sandwich. But it tastes, it gives you the feel of having something equivalent to a burger, but not having the burger. And that's an option that people are suggesting. And the question is, what's the future of Impossible Burger? I really don't care. But what's important for us is how it's going to affect our lives. And my prediction, it will affect it in two ways. One is people will start eating cheeseburgers much more commonly. And oh yeah, you might get a Hamish Hashgacha on top of it too if you want, if you need it. So that might happen too. But they're going to start producing cheeseburgers in a dramatic way if it really is so exciting, because they're saying it's pretty exciting. So if so, they're going to be starting to do that. They'll see it and you'll see it on menus, and the question will come up for Maris Ayin and also the taiva. Are we supposed to have the taiva for basa b'cholav? Is that what we're supposed to have a taiva for it? Yes, Hashem said He's going. The Gemara says in Chulin that everything Hashem gives you another taste or something like it. Yeah, it's true. Go have a kal, go have the udders. That's what the Gemara says. But you want to have something that's a cheeseburger. You're not interested in udder. You want a cheeseburger. Okay. So does that mean that we're supposed to look for it? But the Gemara didn't say you're supposed to run after that flavor, because one of them talks about Eishes Ish, and it says Grusha B'chaye Baila. So that doesn't translate as something we're supposed to want. Definitely not supposed to want that. The Gemara in Gittin talks against it. The famous Maisa we learn on Tisha B'Av. I'm not going to go into the details because it's an evening program here. But let's just understand, we shouldn't be seeking taivas. Last week we talked about Nazir. In the Kriyas Torah we talked about Nazir. And why does a Nazir become a Nazir? It's good. The Torah says, Kiyafli, he becomes a Pella, a strange thing. And the Ibn Ezra says, why is the word Pella used? Because he says everybody else is going after Tava. Everyone else is going after the desires. And this man is saying no to his desires, and he's giving up wine. It's not Jewish to run after cheeseburgers. It's not Jewish to put it on the menu, cheeseburger. It's just not Jewish. It's the wrong thing. And hopefully when this Nisayon comes up, which I expect will happen very soon, I expect it will be within months or in a year or so. And maybe I'll remember to mention it again. Hopefully that when it comes up, I'll mention it again. But we have to stand up to that test. The show is almost over, and anybody who would like to contact me, you can do that. We have just finished and come out with the Kosher Travel Guide. Everybody needs it this time of year. If you want to get it, it's $9. It'll be in the stores. Some stores, very few stores are carrying right now. We don't have much distribution in the stores. Basically, you're going to be able to buy it from us, or you can get a subscription. I'll give you the number, 718-336-8544, 718-336-8544, or Kashrus, Kashrus at AOL.com, or you can go to our website, kashrusmagazine.com, Kashrus magazine.com. You can order the 2018 Kosher Travel Guide. Even if it doesn't show it the picture yet on the website, you can order it there. We're obviously going to send you the latest issue. And if you want to do preparing for going away for the summer, and you can use it all year long. It's 154 pages. It's 360 cities across the United States. 120 pages just of the information, plus the regular magazine is included there. So you get a tremendous amount of material, more than we do in any other issue, and it's the largest issue we've ever done. So I think we once did one that size before. So you definitely, it's a good time to call us now. You can leave a message anytime, 24 hours a day, 718-336-8544. And until next week, this is your host, Rabbi Yosef Wickler, editor of Kashrus magazine, wishing you a wonderful week.
Anywhere, anytime, for everyone. This is jrootradio.com.
Mountain Fruit. For over 15 years, Mountain Fruit has been the preferred grocery for the discerning kosher consumer, providing meat, fish, and produce departments, delicious takeout, and so much more. Visit us today, 1523 Avenue M, or call us for free delivery, 855-MT-FRUIT. Also inquire about our member program. Mountain Fruit, the peak of quality, 1523 Avenue M, 855-MT-FRUIT. Visit us online at shopmountainfruit.com.
מחכים, מצפים, ממתינים, מתרגשים, ויגיעו לו, ויגיעו לו. 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 הנה הנה הוא בא, הנה מושיח בו, הנה הנה הוא בא, הנה מושיח בו. מצפים, ממתינים, מתרגשים, ויגיעו לו, ויגיעו לו. מחכים, מצפים, ממתינים, מתרגשים, ויגיעו לו, ויגיעו לו. מחכים, מצפים, ממתינים, מתרגשים, ויגיעו לו, ויגיעו לו. מחכים, מצפים, ממתינים, מתרגשים, ויגיעו לו, ויגיעו לו. הנה הנה הוא בא, משיח בו, הנה הנה הוא בא, הנה משיח בו. חיכינו, ציפינו 2000 שנה, חיכינו, קיווינו לראות את פניך. חיכינו, ציפינו שלמה, חיכינו, קיווינו, הנה משיח בא. משיח בא, הנה הנה בא. משיח בא, הנה משיח בא. משיח בא, הנה הנה בא. משיח בא, משיח בא. הנה הנה הוא בא, הנה משיח בא. הנה הנה הוא בא, הנה משיח בא. הנה הנה הוא בא.
איש עומד על סיפון אונייה, פולט עשן אל הרוח, מרגיש על גג העולם, דבר לא יעצור בעדו. סביב רגליו איש כפוף מנקה אחריו, חולם על ביתו, עולם הפוך אני רואה. היא חיה לבד בדירת פאר, מתבוננת הרבה במראה, היא הדבר הבא, אור הזרקורים שלה. מעבר לכביש אישה בלי חלומות, קמה בלילות, מחבקת עולליה, עולם הפוך אני רואה. ובלילה בחלום מתגלה אליי עולם אחר לגמרי, פתאום מקום עולם ברור אני רואה, עולם ברור אני רואה, עולם הולך ומתגלה. לבין השפחה ונעלם, הבגד בוגד, המסכה מכסה, אנשים שקטים בונים עולמות נסתרים, אף אחד לא שומע, אף אחד לא רואה, ובלילה בחלום מתגלה אליי עולם אחר לגמרי, פתאום הכל במקום, עולם ברור אני רואה, עולם ברור אני רואה, עולם הולך ומתגלה, סוגר עיניים ורואה, הנה ישנו עולם אחר לגמרי, הכל פתאום מתהפך, העליון הוא התחתון, התחתון הפך עליון, עולם ברור אני רואה, את האלוקים אני אראה.
Dabei sah mich das ist noch nicht gewesen. Jeden Abend gelebt zufrieden viel mit Glück, in Kashrus hat man nicht gesehen. In a Feld viel Frucht, in zwei gute Sachen, gewohnt haben zwei Jiden dort ein Schein. In ein Saat Brüder, Frau mit vielen Kinderlich, zweite Saat Brüder ganz allein. Fell belangt sie sein, sie die Brüder zwei, in ist sie teilt auf Teilen gleiche. Die Brüder ist allein, jetzt so sei klein, ist sich geworden gut reiche. Die zweiten Brüder so, die Mischbuche sei groß, wie viel Leben gibt es, kommt zum Leben. Ist aber gehin, war keinem nimmt nicht. Aus am Brüder will ihm ständig geben. Die Welt, man kann ihr nicht als Gleichen. Einer hat doch weinig, einer viel. Der Arme darf nehmen bei dem Reichen. Der Reiche darf ihm geben, was will. Das haben wir mit Gefühlen. Noch Mones auf normal. In dem Aschäfer wird es auch der vielen. In Auch auf unsere Mones oben da.
Berg fiel wieder, sind wir rausgekommen.
Ich war noch die ganze Welt. Jeden Abend sich zu neu gekommen, aufnehmen wir in der Welt. Der reiche Brüder, kenn ich arbeiten, sie ich, schwer sie treffen wird so vor dem Tod. Beim zweiten Brüder, wie man in die Knurr, was ich zum reichen Kind bin, helfen viel mit Gott. Reihen sei so, ja Reihen und Reihen, mit die Messer schnappen sein die Sangen. Zusammen euch alle singen euch, zum Waschäfer ehrliche Gesangen. Hinten in der Zeit, die Jure Melei, bleiben auf das, was man noch vergessen. Als Anfall auf der Hitz im Morgen geht, soll auch et gucken, wo sie essen. Die Welt, man kennt dich nicht ausgleichen. Einer hat doch weinig, einer viel. Der Arme darf nehmen, was dem Reichen. Der Reicher darf ihm geben, wo sie will. Jeder darf viel mit Gefühl. Doch kun es so gemacht, in dem Waschäfer wird es auf der Führung. Noch auf ins Rechmunes Hupen da. Das Leben ist vergangen, der Tag ist schon entlaufen. Der reiche Frieden liegt bei sich im Bett. Ist stark vermattet, den kann nicht rufen. Die Stille reiht sie sich alleine weg. Also viel Zwiege, Hand hat Ruf genommen. Weil mein Bruder wird nicht sein auf Land. Ist noch helfen, haben sie mir gegeben. Es fällt daran im Angedanken. Es ist schon sehr spät, läuft raus von der. Sie sahen Felder, läuft rumgrieben. Als Noppen noch als Not, leicht es auf sein Kopf. Ihn trugt es auf dem Heilig in sein Brüder. Geht und geht, der Herz ist viel mit frei. Weet nur, sie soll sein, mit das Luchen. Der Bruder wird es sehen, nicht wissen, was geschehen. Wir meinen, als es ist, daran die Brüche. Der Ruhren Bruder kann euch nicht sie machen. Sein reiche Brüder als erklärt. Also viel Zwiege, also viel gute Sachen. In das alles ist doch gut nicht mehr. Einer allein in alles wird überbleiben. Hat nicht kann nur auf der Welt. Fuß a Jurti, der als mehr und klein. Ihm verkäuft den Leib, da weg das Geld. Sein ganzer Gedanke ist, was mir Geld ist schein. Ein anderer Klick, die der doch nicht vermogen. Es fällt an den Kopf, ins am Feld das noch. Sie ist am Brüders Feld, da weg sie trugen. Die Nacht ist also spät, läuft raus von der. Nimmt das noch in Eibes und sie trugen. Wird es leiden weiter, Kissen als sei. So Brüder weiß nicht viele, die vermuten. Der reiche Brüder halt als in ein Trugen. In ist zufrieden, stark finden. Jetzt den Wetter stark übergeschlagen. Seht es gibt und wer gegen ihn. Ein Mensch, die Achaie, weiß nicht, was sie klebt. Der Streit, den kiegt sich an, als Leopold. Wie fangt Kinder zu werden, sehen hat ihr sein Brüder leben. Sie haben sich betracht, die Augen sie gemacht, das noch ist schnell getan mit der Leige. Und sie haben Gicharim, nehmen sich in Qualen, Tränen fallen von die Augen. Maluchem in der Euch, weinen mit sei Euch, in fin Bashefer fallen noch zwei Tränen. In Gizam Wort, der Tag und dem Ort, der weiß am Weg, doch wenn ihr tot das wäre. In weiß am Weg, das schlägt man Kiemen, auch genehmen hat man jeden Wein. Kolbones lenken werden ungenehmen, dasselbe zieh mir Surem, zieh mir rein. Der Ike, die mit Mest genäufe, ich weiß nicht, welche Muss es geht dazu. Wie viel der Mensch das immer schön vergläuben, im Maß und Teufel, wie viel auch getun.
Shenoisnim loylei koneis shom shom timtsayu bechi shalcha bincha echad matzi haboirei eini royeyu biyadaneyu bechol mokum shenoisnim loylei koneis shom shom timtsayu Mishe eino royes samot koy mechol Chomakoim, ein euro yeyu b'shumakoim, mi she'ein euro yes hamakoim, chomakoim, chomakoim, ein euro yeyu b'shumakoim, mi she'ein euro yes hamakoim, chomakoim, chomakoim, ein euro yeyu b'shumakoim, mi she'ein euro yes hamakoim, chomakoim, chomakoim, ein euro yeyu b'shumakoim. Shalcha bincha, veichot motzi haboirei miyad aneyu bechol mokom shenoisnim loylei koneis shom shom timtzayu bechi shalcha bincha veichot motzi haboirei eini royeyu miyad aneyu bechol mokom shenoisnim loylei koneis shom shom timtzayu Hey,
מהר מהר יקדמונו רחמך כי מעולם ועד עולם לא עזבונו חסדיך וימצא ויתרצה לעמדות כדרכך מהר מהר יקדמונו רחמך כי מעולם ועד עולם לא עזבונו חסדיך אל תבישנו אל תשיבנו ריקה מלפניך ולי יש רק מילים פשוטות לדבר איתך כי דלותי מאוד ולפעמים גם מילים לא אין לי כלים לתאר את כל הטוב קבל שבתנו לפניך כי רם וניסה עלינו עוד פניך נא אל תשכח נא אל תיקח את הזכות להיות בניך ולי יש רק מילים פשוטות לדבר איתך כי דלותי מאוד ולפעמים גם מילים לא אין לי כלים לתאר את כל הטוב ולי יש רק מילים פשוטות לדבר איתך כי דלותי מאוד ולפעמים גם מילים לא אין לי כלים לתאר את כל הטוב מהר מהר יקדמונו רחמך
וחושפנו בספר החיים למענך אלוהיקים חיים זכרנו לחיים מלך חופץ בחיים וחושפנו בספר למענך אלוהיקים חיים זכרנו לחיים לחופץ בחיים וחושפנו בספר החיים בחיים וחושפנו בספר החיים למען כל אלוהים חיים
זוכרנו לחיים ולחופש בחיים וחושפנו בספר
Hoy